In the past year, IREN stock is up by 373%. Is there still room for this to grow to the upside? Is IREN stock a 50x opportunity, or is it a speculative investment? This is what I'm going to cover in this video. In doing so, I will cover its business model briefly, then some numbers, and finally do the valuation. Please note, this is not financial advice. I'm not qualified to give financial advice. I'm simply recording my thoughts about IREN stock. So at the time of this recording, I do not own any IREN shares or options. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's continue growing together. So IREN stock is trading at $41 at the time of this recording. The market cap is $11 billion, which is rich for their fundamentals. The PE is shown as 107, but it is misleading. They have had one-time credit that helped with positive net income. In reality, if we exclude that, the PE will be sky high. Now, let me show you a snip that summarizes their business model. 90% of the revenue comes from Bitcoin mining and 10% comes from AI cloud data centers. So in short summary, we can say it is a Bitcoin mining company that has ambitions to expand into data center business. In recent interview with the co-founder, he did not mention either Bitcoin or mining and hyped up the data center part. So it is not good representation when the co-founder is not honest about what they are. Now, the news anchor called this out and it became embarrassing for the co-founder. Now, let us focus more on the business. IREN is pivoting into AI cloud GPU as a service business. They currently have 1,900 GPUs and they have plans to invest $200 million to expand to 10,000 in the coming months. As you can see on the screen, they are targeting 200 to 250 million annual revenue with these 10,000 GPUs. So it seems they are estimating about 25,000 per GPU revenue annually. Now, they paused their Bitcoin mining business to focus on AI growth. The main reason for this is that the Bitcoin mining margins were really bad. The cost of Bitcoin revenue, depreciation of the expensive GPUs they have, and amortization left them with very small margin on Bitcoin. For valuation, we pretty much ignore this part of the business. I will show you more details later in this video. So in the growth outlook, IREN wants to expand to 60,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs. They claim high margins and fast return on capital. This has to be demonstrated as it depends on how much revenue they can make, how much interest rate they have to pay on the borrowed money, and how quickly the GPUs will need replacement. Now, let me show you a snip that shows their near-term plans. Even though their long-term goal is 60,000 GPUs, their short-term goal is 10,000 GPUs. They're expecting 200 to 250 million revenue. They say 3-year revenue payback on this, but there are caveats for this as they do not have a contract yet. They are expecting and they're expanding and being ready for a contract. Now, as you can see on the screen, for 60,000 GPU set, they're counting on British Columbia sites and also potentially Texas sites. Now, this is good in the sense that they have plans for land and power for this expansion. They have close to 2,900 megawatt power across different sites in Canada and the US. Now, let me show you a snip that shows their revenue expectation for this year. They anticipate 1.25 billion total revenue, 1 billion coming from Bitcoin mining, and 200 to 250 million coming from AI cloud. The AI cloud revenue at the moment is not certain. They do not have a fully contract commitment yet. So it may vary. For Bitcoin mining, they are saying 3.125 block reward, but after 2028 halving, this block reward is going to further reduce. Now, let me show you their tiny operating margin. The Bitcoin revenue is 484 million. The cost of revenue is 157 million. Expenses are 136 million. And depreciation of hardware is 181 million. This means there's not much left for profit. Operating profit is 17 million off of 484 million revenue. This is less than 3% net margin, which is bad. They are able to get this profit when Bitcoin is almost at 115,000. This means this Bitcoin business is not attractive. They are barely making ends meet with this Bitcoin business. I think it is the right move to get into AI cloud business. Let us now look at the snip before I move on to the valuation. So as you can see on the screen, IREN is heavily diluting investors. At the beginning of this year, the outstanding shares are 100 million, and now it's at 223 million. So in reality, it is worse. The fully diluted count is 272 million. This is unheard of, and I think it is going to continue as they need a lot of cash to buy GPUs. So the question is, what is the potential? I quickly asked LLM on what is the revenue potential for 60,000 GPUs. As you can see on the screen, it's estimating 1.3 billion annually for 60,000 GPUs. It did compute based on the current expected revenue of $500 million for 23,000 GPUs. Now, please let me know in the comments if you think that this estimate is incorrect or too pessimistic. I would love to know your input, so please leave them in the comments. So if I assign 20% net profit margin, I get 300 million net profit. I anticipate a 40 multiple with which the market cap would be $12 billion. Now, let us remember that they are diluting shareholders left, right, and center. Currently, they have 272 million, and by the time they get to 60,000 GPUs, it may get to 400 million minimum. In that case, $12 billion of market cap with 400 million shares, the stock price would be $30. Now, it is at $41 currently at the time of this recording. I see a downside of 25% and not a 50x. So I would not call it a speculative investment yet, as they do have plan to action, but a lot depends on execution, contracts they get, financing they get, and how quickly they can get the money back before the GPU's life is out. So as of right now, I prefer to stay away, but I would love to know your thoughts. Please leave them in the comments. Please let me know if I'm missing anything, and see you in the next video.